Hi guys, what is up? My name is Dracovan, and it's been a long time since we've done a deck profile on the channel now, maybe a year or so. So after emerging from the abyss once more, I am now sharing with you today my first place deck profile of Red Dragon Archfiend that I've won at my locals. But before we begin, may I ask you to drop a like on this video if you're a Don like Jack Atlas himself. Leave a comment on the video if you like what you see, and maybe add some suggestions if you want. And please subscribe to the channel if you want to crush your locals with some original deck ideas and a guide to your dueling success. So, before we also get into the profile, a little disclaimer as well. Our community is quite competitive in the northwest of the UK, so we decided as a community that we try and trial out a casual week instead of the usual high meta profiles that we know and tolerate today. Instead, we thought it'd be nice not to stare down a Dragoon, press by hand traps to death, and just generally not dealing with unbreakable boards or floodgates we all know, and which everyone isn't really a fan of from time to time. So in short, a rule of thumb, we decided to cut down all oppressive generic hand traps, zero floodgates, basically allowing the opponent to play and not becoming just a bit of a degenerate. And the beauty of this is, because there's no set format and what cards to play and stuff, it's very rogue and no one has any idea what to expect. My matches today, I played a pure relinquish deck, a Sacred Beast deck with a danger package, and a Galaxy Eyes deck. So a bit of a pattern here, like it was more anime focused to give the first week a trial. So it's not what you would usually hear to win for like a locals, so to speak. So again, small disclaimer, this was a casual pilot to see how things went down, and everything you see here will be substituted to add more things rather than hand traps and stuff. Another disclaimer as well, before we start, you've probably seen Phantasme and thinking, well, that's a hand trap. Well, not necessarily. It just, we kind of turned around and like said the Ghost Girls were the problem, so like anything that negated essentially. Or Gamma or anything like that. But you get what I mean, just eruptively destructing the opponent's players and stuff. So, let's get on into this profile. I've been so excited to do this for a while now. So, to start off with, we are playing 3 Crimson Resonator. Crimson is just a Don. It is simply a nice addition to the deck to help with the Red Dragon Archfiend archetype. If you control no monsters on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you have the only other monster you have is a Dragon Dark Synchro, you can special summon 2 Resonators from your deck, and note that can be any, it can be 2 copies except for himself. But when you do this, it's essential to know that you are now locked into Dark Dragon Synchros if you use either effect. So yeah, this guy, so good, I can't fault it. It's also dark, which is really nice for draw power, which we'll get into later on. His brother in crime, the Red Resonator. Again, we're playing with 3 Resonator because it's just a good card to get play started. On its normal summon, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand once it's summoned. And its second effect is, if it's special summoned, it allows you to gain life points to a monster you target on the field, which is really nice. So it helps get you out of tight situations and just helps against time rolls and stuff like that. But more or less, it just helps more bodies to get on board. And there's a cute little combo that I've been doing for so long on Duel Links, but I thought I'd put into practice. But yeah, he's very good, just as good as Crimson. Now, admittedly, in this build, I don't run more Resonators because I simply don't own them. So my last Resonators I've run is 1 Synchron Resonator, 1 Chain Resonator, and 1 Double Resonator. Admittedly, one in particular being a double, he's not great, he's pretty awful in all honesty. I would run a second Synchron, but again, I don't have a second one, but that could easily be taken out for this one. He's only in there because it's a level 1, essentially, and that's it. There's not really anything good he does. Like, if you normal summons or special summons, you can make any monster you want to tuner, which is not really ideal for the cards I'm running in this. So yeah, that's why he's there. Chain is just again another level 1. I don't really use him this much. But I mean, on normal summon you can special summon another Resonator, which is fine, I suppose. I mean, I'm not using him to his full potential, I understand this. However, it's just another level 1. But the best one has to be Synchron Resonator, because it specials itself as an extender if you control a Synchron monster. And then when this card gets into the graveyard, you can add any Resonator back to your hand. And just follow up on your plays on the next turn. So that's all the Resonators I've played. Came in clutch, some of them, not gonna lie. Very tight situations. Now moving on to like the bigger boys and girls in terms of level 4s. Wandering King Wildling is essential for the Red Dragon Archfiend deck. This card is just nuts. So if you control a Fiend Tuner with 15 or less attack, 1500 I should say, you can special summon it as an extender. And then when it's in the graveyard, you can, after the turn it was sent there, you can just banish it to search any of your Resonators or anything that's a Fiend Tuner with 15 or less attack, which I will get into later on because there's a nice little spicy thing I run in this deck. But this is great because this is more or less your combo starter with this and a level 2 Resonator. These just kick off the plays and just get into this bad boy, which we'll get into later on in the profile. Very good card, don't sleep on it. This is what you need to make this deck playable. Other cards I've played today was 2 Witch. So 2 Witch the Black Forest, just to simply get the Resonators to my hand if I need them, or any other key piece I'm missing. Very key, very useful. And then the next one off is a Red Familiar. Familiar doesn't really do an awful lot. It's more of a late game card. It's good for what it is, but you don't want really more than 1. I mean, you could run 2 if you really wanted to. I opted not to because I just wanted to see pieces I needed for current situations. Anyway, when you summon this card, you can tribute another monster or itself, and you can essentially add a Synchro Dark Dragons from your grave into your field in defense, but its effect's negated. But essentially it helps you Synchro climb, you know what I mean. And it's very good for what it does. And on its graveyard effect, you can banish it, and then you can target one of your Dark Dragon Synchros and make it level from 1 to 8. Again, just reconstructing the Synchro climb to get into the big boys you need. Now for the nice little spice. Oppressive Overloop. You've probably never seen this before. If you have, I'll be very surprised. For what it is gimmicky. You can ban. It's a level 4 fiend, and it's also a tuner. It also can be searched with a Wandering King Wildlings effect when it's banished from the grave, because it's only 1200. So you can normal summon it as well by any means, but realistically what you're going to be doing, if you have dead synchros that you're not going to be able to get again in the late game, you can banish one synchro monster in your grave to special summon it from your hand, and if it's in the graveyard, you can banish a synchro again to add it back to your hand, hence its name, Overloop. So it just loops round and such. But I like it because it's a level 4 tuner, so I can use this with this, for example, or maybe Witch, and I can just go off in big red dragon plays. So I really like this card. I would recommend giving it a try and see what you think. It could work in other decks too. And more honourable mention, just another level 4 extender, Hat Tricker. If there's 2 monsters on the field, you can special summon this. Again, good with Overloop and anything else I need. And then just a little honorary mention, Rocket Synchron. On normal summon, you can just special summon a level 5 or higher dragon from your grave, which all the big synchros tend to be. So that's pretty nice. It's also a level 1 as well, which is cool, with another card I run in the spells lineup. So, because we were playing it casually, and we're not taking the hand traps, I decided to swap them out for these. So I played 3 Psy Reflector, 1 Assault Beast, and 1 Red Dragon Archfiend Assault mode. Yes, it's not the best, I understand this, but I did like how it played out. Psy's pretty cool because if you normal special summon it, you can essentially add a card that has Assault mode in its text, which 9 times out of 10 will be Assault Beast, And the combo would be you would discard this, add Assault Mode Activate. Second effect, reveal the trap Assault Mode Activate to target your Assault Beast, make it level 7, special summon it, and then you've got a 7 and then a level 1 tuner, synchro them both into Red Dragon Archfiend, and then set the trap, you know, to get into the big boy here. He's not great. I will admit that he's not great. He's just there as like a last resort. If you battle with this monster, you basically nuke the board essentially. But he's quite big, and that's what's pretty much won me my games today, just big fat dragons. But I do like its other ability, if it does die, but you have to be careful though, because it is a when effect, so it can miss time. But essentially what happens is, if this dies through a card effect or by battle, you can special summon Red Dragon Archfiend in your graveyard. So it's like the original, or even the Scarlet, which we'll get into later on. Excuse me. So, moving on to spells now. Free Resonator Call, mandatory, not once per turn. Get all your things you need. Off you go. Second best card, in my opinion, Resonator Command. If you draw a dead like Resonator, let's just say double, for example, and you don't want it, you can just discard it to get your level 4 Fiends, so red, Overloop, or the best one, Wandering King Wildling. Very good card. It's only once per turn though, so that's why I only run 2. It's also a quick play, so you can get over plays if you're smart enough in terms of chain links and stuff. All depends on the scenario, but very good card into the deck. I run my draw cards, which is 2 Pot of Desires, 1 Pot of Avarice. I don't want 3, you never need 3. You banish tend to get the cards you need. Admittedly, you can lose stuff, but it's not the be all end all, and that really helps. And the Pot of Avarice is just to help recycle big synchro dragons in your grave, or just key pieces that you need and just draw 2. Also not once per turn, so again I would run more copies. Again, I only just have 1, but it worked out pretty well for me today, so I'm not complaining. All the draw cards to mention, 3 Allure of Darkness. Majority of the deck is dark, so it'd be very rude not to. It also came in clutch for me one game. I managed to get Psy Reflected from the draw and banished it, and just got my necessary pieces to go off. So yeah, very good. Never underestimate Allure. It's by far the second, if not third best draw card in the game, in my opinion. And then some one-offs. Call by the Grave, Monster Reborn, 1 for 1, and Assault Mode 0. So we'll just go through it this way. Call by, this is not classed as a hand trap, and it's not classed as a floodgate. It's just a necessary piece, just to disrupt your opponent if you need to. So we kind of agreed that this was playable. Monster Reborn, because we need some way to recur our monsters in the grave as well when we have to. 1 for 1 is nuts. You can discard like a dead card like this or anything else, and you can just go into like your ones here, or the main one I typically use will be Psy Reflector, but obviously you don't want to discard this when you do that. But yeah, this helps me get into Psy 1 and just other stuff. It's very good, don't diss it. The one card I probably would cut, but it does come up sometimes. It's Assault Mode 0. So let's say if I do have this in my hand, this fixes the problem. Because Assault Mode Activate only summons from the deck. So if I do hard draw this and I have a Red Dragon Archfiend, I can summon this using this, so it's pretty good. So definitely worth considering if you want to add the assault package to your Red Dragon Archfiend deck. Understandable if you don't, however it really did work for me. And then lastly, the 3 traps that run in the deck: Assault Mode Activate, Red Rain, and Powerful Rebirth. I could probably just cut this, so I was just looking for another Monster Reborn. I could put either a second Assault Mode or like a Red Rain in case I banished it with Desires and stuff. But no, they works really well. This gets you into your hot Red Dragon Archfiend Assault mode. Red Rain is bonkers. This card is so good. If you have a level 8 synchro monster, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a Dark Dragon synchro. It can work with anything. However, if you do summon a Dark Dragon synchro, it can like get itself from the grave back to the hand. So what it does is, if you control a level 8 synchro monster, you can banish all, well, level 8 or higher, you can banish all monsters on the field except the monster with the highest level, and also the remaining monsters fields are unaffected by other card effects. So it makes them more or less a towers essentially. So this is a very good card. Definitely play it in the deck. It is just too good not to. And that pretty much wraps the main deck. I've had a lot of fun with this today. I've always wanted to play this in a casual environment, and yesterday was the day. Moving on to the extra deck. So 3 Red Rising. I want to give a small shout out actually. I want to shout out to Joe from Zephyr War Games. I'll put a link in the channel. I've been getting deck ideas from him too, so thank you. You helped me win locals today, so much appreciated. So Red Rising Dragon. This card is it's good. It's very good. It's not a hard once per turn, and it's synchro summon. On synchro summon, you can basically special summon any Resonator you want in your graveyard. Ideally, you would probably go for Red Resonator or Crimson, because what will happen is you can gain life for this, or you can just like special 2 more reds, and then you got 2 reds, 1 crimson, 1 this. This can get you into Red Supernova Dragon, which is a brand new card from Ghost of the Past. This card is just is bonkers. It really is. Its second effect, you can, after the turn, it was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card and special summon 2 level 1 Resonators. Yeah, it's a shame it doesn't say up to, because that would have been preferable, but it is doable. Hence why the random weird Resonators. This is your combo starter. This is what you're going to get up to. I then run 1 Ancient Pixie Dragon. It's only here simply to be either a wall, or it's just a Dark Dragon Synchro, and it's a level 7. There are times where your Resonators can get quite clunky, and they won't be able to help you Synchro climb. So this dude really does help into like your level 8s if you need to. That's all it's there for. And then I'm running 1 OG Red Dragon Archfiend and 2 Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. Now, admittedly, you could just run 3, but I'd like to have the option. So the OG in today's standards is not that great. However, if you battle a defense position monster, it wipes the board, which is quite nice. And also, there's like a cool little combo if you have like the assault mode one as well. If you did attack with assault mode and you had one of these in the grave, you can there's a mandatory end phase effect. Destroy the assault mode. Assault mode will activate special summoning a Scarlight or the original, because Scarlight becomes Red Dragon Archfiend on field and or the graveyard. So yeah, that's pretty much why he's there as well. But Scarlight's just better overall, because if you if you special summon this card, you can activate its effect to destroy monsters equal to its attack value. Anything higher, so any of the bigger Red Dragon Archfiends, they will be fine because of attack value. But 3,000 or less, they just die. This also applies to ranks as well, because it's not level. And yeah, this is why it's here. It's very good. I would run 3, but there's a reason why I'm not, and that's because I just want options. And the reason why I want options is I run this dude as well, Hot Red. Admittedly, he's just like the original Red Dragon Archfiend. He's just there for those situations. He's not perfect, but he's just there. And I like the fact that because this happened in game 1 with my opponent having relinquished monster, I use this this dude's effect to just wipe the board for every attack position monster, and Relinquish can only have one monster and its effect didn't trigger. So yeah, good card. Another dark hole board wipe essentially. For those very tight situations, Beals, he didn't come up today, but he was there just in case I came up against, I don't know, a True Draco, I suppose, if people want to go down that route, which they didn't. I mean, I don't suppose they would, because they won't be playing Floodgates and stuff, but you get my point. It can get targeted, but it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Is quite nice, so you know, definitely worth considering. It's also a Dark Dragon Synchro, so you can also link climb. It doesn't have to be Red Dragon Archfiend or its other variants. Then I run one a bit hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, Disc-Good, Omnigate, and if you quick effect, and if you destroy a monster and inflict battle damage to your opponent, or just inflict battle damage in general, you can special summon and turn it to the grave, so you get your level 1 Resonator, and this will help you get onto your bigger boys, being Hot Red Bane. So Bane's really cool. You tribute another monster, and then you can special summon one of your other Red Dragon Archfiend variants in the graveyard back to the field. So him and him, there's a majority of the time. Run 2, because this came up a lot today, Synchro 10s, so that's the reason. I would run maybe a second Abyss, but it worked out fine. And then finally, the 3 big daddies. We've got Hot Red Calamity, Red Nova Dragon, and Red Super Nova Dragon. Honestly, Nova Dragon could be taken out. It's not that great for today's standards. I just put it in there for a flex. Calamity on summon just basically says no to your opponent, but that's only on the turn it's synchro summons, so they can still play on their turn. Saying that, if this does die by battle or card effect, excuse me people, you can special summon a level 8 Dark Dragon Synchro from your graveyard. So it's not that bad, it does the job. And your main reason why you want this deck is to play Red Supernova Dragon. The card is bonkers. Essentially, what it is, 4k, you know, original attack, but it will become 5/5 by default. It requires 3 tuners and 1 non-tuner synchro monster. So again, 2 red, 1 crimson, 1 red rising dragon makes this bad boy. And then if your opponent activates an effect or declares an attack, you can activate this effect, banish it, and then banish your opponent's monsters and hold board. Is it hold board, I believe? Yeah, all cards your opponent controls. And then on your next end phase, it will come back. This is the deal breaker. You know, it's so good. You know, this is why I decided to play today, because of this card. It's just incredible. Like, I really, really like this card. So that's majority of the deck. We're going to the side deck now, very quickly. I didn't really put an awful lot in here. So I put 2 Phantasme, 1 Feather Duster, and 3 Twister. Like I said at the beginning of the video, take this with a grain of salt, because it was somewhat of a custom format with no hand traps and no floodgates and stuff. But just in case, I had back row hate and I had like link hate, just to get me necessary draw power. We all agreed that this isn't really an oppressive hand trap, because it doesn't really do anything to the opponent, it just helps me. So that was fine there. That was pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching the deck profile. I know it's been an absolute mouthful and took longer than expected, but again, I had a blast. It was my first time winning the locals, so I'm really proud of it. Admittedly, there are a few, you know, bits in it that is not the best, and you can leave them in the comments below for your suggestions. But I like it. I really, really like it. It's fun, and it's just how Yu-Gi-Oh was supposed to be. Not every week we should be playing a meta-defining format. There should be something casual, and this is where this comes into light. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, this is Dracovan signing out.